UKIP MEP and Thurrock Councillor Tim Aker has hit out at the council's chief executive for saying it will do its bit to help Syrian refugees in response to the Prime Minister's announcement that 20,000 refugees could be resettled into the UK over the next 5 years. David Bull also said Thurrock has a long and proud history of accepting refugees. Tim Aker believes a referendum should be held to gauge public opinion.
Where was the democratic vote on that? Where was the debate? Where was the consideration that there are 6,500 people on the council waiting list? Many residents have to wait 3 to 4 weeks for a GP. There are domestic pressures that need to be taken into consideration. I mean, it was ridiculous for the chief executive to come out with this statement. I'm actually breathtaken by it.
I don't know if you read further down the statement, because he said until the details of the government's proposals, including financial assistance, are available and fully analysed, it'd be impossible to give accurate details of what the council can or will be able to do.
Well, don't commit yourself in the first place. It is not the chief executive's position to commit the council. It's the democratically elected members of the council to do that. And where was the debate? I mean, I'm absolutely shocked that we've got an unelected officer who is meant to implement the decisions voted by the elected members coming out with something like this. I mean, it's really wrong.
So what should the council be doing then?
Well, we should have an emergency debate on this at the next full council on the 23rd of September, because lots of people are concerned about this, on both sides, and we have an incredible amount of pressures in Thurrock, as we do across the whole of Essex and the United Kingdom, with 1.8 million people on the social housing waiting list. People want to know whether there's going to be queue jumping or not. Yeah, we've got to. We are a very hospitable country. We do welcome and support genuine refugees, but we've got to balance that with the pressures of the constituency and the council and of the people who elected us.
Sure, but I mean, even at the upper end of what David Cameron is saying that the UK can do for Syrian refugees over the lifetime of the Parliament, this is just a handful of Syrian refugees per day for the next 5 years across the whole country.
On top of 330,000 people net who are coming into the country every year. This government broke all records for net immigration. If net immigration was down in the tens of thousands, like David Cameron promised not so long ago in his manifestos, then would we be having this debate? Because would the British people be saying, well, hang on, there wouldn't be the pressure on education, class sizes, housing, and so on. We would have a completely different debate. But because we've got net immigration at record levels, the government are saying, well, we put more on top of that and more pressure on local services, and that's not being put into perspective. I think this is knee-jerk from this government that, ironically, wanted to bomb Syria in the first place, which would have caused more refugees. I mean, there is a democratic deficit here. We have had so many changes in Thurrock that nobody has voted for. And I put motion after motion in to actually redress the balance, that the people should have their say through referendums and so on, that lots of changes are happening without the people being consulted, and enough is enough. And I could have brought this up with John Kent at the next full council. He is an elected councillor and leader of the council. If it was him saying it, fine, we can have a debate about it. And I can say, well, where did you get your mandate from? But for an unelected officer to take to the press and say Thurrock will do its bit, who has not been elected, that spits in the face of my constituents who elect people to represent them. When unelected people start making decisions, it makes Thurrock Council look as bad as the European Commission.
But how much money is it going to cost to hold a referendum every time you want to make a decision like this?
Well, the price of democracy is blood. The people have fought and died for our right to speak and make decisions. And when you look at ridiculous policies by Thurrock Council to spend millions of pounds refurbishing the council offices, the money is there to have those referendums. We vote every year for local elections. I called the last general election for a local referendum on the new Thames crossing. Nobody batted an eyelid about that. In fact, John Kent's opposition to that said it was illegal rather than costly. So, we have the infrastructure there to do it. And I think if you want to get more people engaged with the community, if you want to get more people engaged with the political process, have more people voting. The people are the masters and the people are in charge, and it's time we gave them the power to do so.
That's Tim Aker, UKIP MEP and Thurrock Councillor, talking to me.